as Kiwis. We might do the whole thing as long as Kiwis.
We're on.
We'll come out into the butt. We come out into the butt. I think it's a pretty funny butt to come up to. We're Kiwis. Hello. Getting a lot of evil eyes from the other side.
But Jackson's just on his phone in the intro. We haven't even started and he's already like,
Woo!
fuck this, I'm better than you cunts.
What's up, guys? This is the South Coast Poster Child, and no, I'm not on my phone. Fuck you, Mitch Parry. Yo, what's up? This is Sausage Boys Podcast. Jackson Grant here, your host. As always, we've got a co-host here. He goes by the name of the Terry Crews of Sydney, ladies and gentlemen. Other people know him as the Steamroller. It's Kareem Diallo.
Hello, fellas. This isn't going down well. I don't know why, this whole New Zealand bit.
And guys, if you enjoyed last week's podcast, you're going to fucking froth this because we've got a part 2 coming in hot.
Yes.
We've got 2 dudes on. Mitch Parry, who you know and love.
Hello.
And we also have a very new friend of the show. He was telling his story last week and we needed to hear more of it. We couldn't help ourselves.
We literally couldn't.
It's Elliot McLaren.
Kia ora whanau.
Hell yeah.
And what are we going to do? You literally had us right on the edge, almost like an episode of Lost.
Yeah, should we kick it off?
I know, should we kick it off?
Kick it straight off, raw, we're going in raw.
I know, because do we have any hard outs today? What's the situation?
Yeah.
We have a bit of a hard out, so we might have to get straight into this puppy.
Does someone remember where we were?
I remember
do.
exactly where we were.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was literally like a fairy tale ending.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was.
sweet.
It was. And did you know what? That's exactly what it felt like.
Yeah.
You know, I'd just come out of the closet. I just turned 21. I just got pretty much my dream opportunity as an apprentice butcher.
Wow.
To do it. And that's, you know, back then that's like all I was focused on. I wasn't really focused on. I never thought about doing stand up. I never thought about doing anything like that. I thought, you know, I was going to be a butcher forever.
It's just in your blood. That's your passion.
Yeah, I suppose, and I also just thought like you're just a blue collar piece of shit, bro. This is it. This is where it's gonna rattle and roll. You know what I mean? So I never thought about doing anything else like that. I never thought there were actual jobs out there like that. You know what I mean?
Like fun jobs. Like you could have fun in life.
You could pursue something in the arts or entertainment. Like I never thought that they were actual jobs. You'd have to go to something like New York or something like that. And to be fair, I'm not completely wrong, but like where
I haven't seen any comedians around here really doing anything.
Yeah, and what I learned was I was 100% right. No one in my proximity is doing well.
Well, no one in Christchurch anyway. There was nothing happening, especially after the earthquakes. There was nothing happening in Christchurch. So, but yeah, it was a fairy tale, you know. And started living with my first partner.
Yeah, your husband.
Yeah. No, he was. We weren't married at the time. We weren't married. No, we were still. This was when we just got together. And we got our own place. I worked. I stopped smoking weed. I stopped doing all drugs. I did drink, but that was really about it. And I worked heaps, bro. I worked hard out. I loved it. I was in there, and it was a really fun place to work. Like
This butcher.
Yeah, as a butcher.
This is the criminal butcher.
No, these guys were actually pretty good. They were just really fun, silly. I'd left the criminal place like with all the convicts and stuff like that. I was actually at a respectable butchery. Cool. Like we dressed up. We wore like ties or bow ties and
so everything's on the right path. There's no bad influences at this butcher shop either.
Nah. We like that was silly. We'd do silly things like when somebody was serving on the counter, you'd walk past and you stick your fingers up their ass.
Wait a second.
Things like that.
Wait, not to the customers. This to
Turns
each other.
out,
This is the other. That's your coworker.
I was thinking of customers. I was like,
turns out that thing you're worried about, what you did on the bus, turns out it was just silly.
Turns out that just happens in every apprenticeship.
As long as you work with somebody, you can sexually abuse them.
I guess Jackson must be
Wait. As long as they're the same gender as you and you work with somebody, there we go.
I guess Jackson...
I don't want people going to go around here and they'd be like, fuck, I'm going to go and touch the receptionist. No, bro, you can't do that.
I guess Jackson must have been working with that 11-year-old boy.
There we go. Elliot loved it.
I just laughed at how horrible it was.
Anyway, yeah.
I mean, I hadn't come out of the closet to my workmates at this point. I was still working with them.
Do you think the finger thing was kind of giving it away or like giving some hints?
Don't do it to me.
Yeah, how is he so good at that?
Exactly. Perfect every time. Perfect aim. Yeah.
Why is he
day.
feeling pleasure from this?
I
Why
never,
is he?
I never really did it to them. It was funny. They did it to me. Like, even after it came out, to be honest, they didn't give a fuck. Like,
They kept doing it.
None of them cared. Yeah, none
Yeah.
of them held it against me. None of them gave a fuck. They were all still pretty good. There was only one time I had a couple of incidents where an old boy was uncomfortable with it and said something about it. I think he wanted me to be fired, but nothing happened.
Oh,
and then,
wow.
And then another apprentice called me a fucking faggot at the pub. I ended up elbowing him in the face. And I shattered his cheekbone and fractured his eye socket. Yeah, he hit the deck. And then he fell down. He smashed over a table, like smashed over the fucking plates and jugs and stuff like that. This is outside in the smokers area. And outside the front of the pub, which shared the same car park as our butcher shop.
Wow.
Yeah, and so I scooped him up. I put the table back up and I scooped him under the table. And the bartender came out and he was like, Elliot, was there a fight out here? I was just like, nah, bro, I've been sitting out here all night. I haven't seen any fights. Why? And he goes, oh, because somebody inside said that they saw somebody get knocked out. And I was just like, nah, bro.
You're bleeding profusely from your elbow right now.
Nah, of course not. I wasn't bleeding. Nothing. I wasn't bleeding at all. But he was under the table, and because he walked in out of the door, and so the table was behind him, was tucked away in a corner.
Yes.
So he'd stepped past Harry, who was scooped up under the thing, but the blood from his face was slowly streaking out and starting to get closer to his shoes. And so I was trying to keep the conversation really short and sweet.
It's like an actual horror movie.
Yeah, I
No,
know.
it's like a comedy. It's like Meet the Fockers or something.
Yeah. It's
Like you're like, oh.
It's trickling, except it's the blood from a 19-year-old's face. So, yeah, and so I just said to him, no, I haven't seen anything. And he goes, oh, okay, that's weird. He's like, do you want anything? I was like, yeah, give me a double, please, a scotch. And then he just went inside and he came out.
And a glass of water.
He came out
For
with
my mate. He's not here. But he definitely needs it.
Well, there was still a couple of other boys sitting there, and they were paralysed with fear because they were really good straight-laced boys. I think they were both 18 at the time, 19 at the time. They're young.
And how old were you at this time? You were
I was still 21, 22.
still pretty young.
Still pretty young.
They've
really
never
young.
seen
Still
anything
a
like
baby.
this before.
Nah, they've
They've
never
never
seen nothing
seen-
like that. They've never
yeah.
seen, especially not violence like that. With the thwack was like really like whack.
And he's unconscious?
Still unconscious when the drink comes out, and then he goes back inside, and then Harry wakes up,
Yeah.
and he comes up. I had his sweatshirt was still at the table, and he comes home and grabs his sweatshirt, and then just like he walks off. But it was funny. They got the CCTV footage of it. We had like a TV at work with security cameras on it out the back of the butchery, so we could see the inside of the shop.
Yeah.
And they just put it on repeat of him getting chopped.
You got the actual elbow
At
shot.
work
That's-
on Monday, yeah. They sent it to work. 'Cause we shared a car park with the pub, and they sent it to work, and they just had it on repeat on the shop TV.
That's what the Australian government needs to do. They need to they have all these ad campaigns to stop people drinking. They need to have ones like you wouldn't call a guy a faggot, and then just him kicking the shit out of people.
That's really good.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, so I've had a bit of... so it was a fun place to work. I mean, we hugged on Monday and everything was all good. So
With a dude.
Yeah. He was like, sorry, I should have never called you. And my boss was just like, I mean, come on, mate, you called him a faggot. I mean,
Yeah.
it'd be like calling a black person the N-word, you know what do you expect?
Yeah.
So...
Gosh.
And he's like, yeah, actually, I probably shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, he says exactly what he said to me. He goes, oh, I shouldn't have said it, I'm sorry. But
But that's cool. Good on him as well.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
doing the apology. Yeah. That's great.
yeah, he was never normally like that either. He was just drunk and angry and just
He's
trying
like, I'm
trying
going to take it out.
trying to hurt my feelings.
He
you know
didn't.
what I
Did you
mean?
do anything to him to set him off, or he's just like?
Oh
nah.
yeah, I laid it on thick. Yeah, because I
Oh,
laid
so
it
you're
on. He was
roasting
a
him or
useless.
something.
He was a useless cunt, and he was always like, "Oh, why does this always happen to me work?" And I was like, "Bro, you're a fucking useless cunt, bro. Like, you need to get your head out your ass. You have no idea how useless you are."
And that's how he retaliated.
Yeah, and he was like, "Fuck you," and then I was like, "Go home, bro. You've had too much to drink. It's late. You need to say something you regret." And he's like, "You're a fucking faggot."
And you're like, there it is.
yeah, that's what I told you, bro. Yeah,
Took about 8 seconds.
yeah.
Now, come on, buddy. You're going to say something you're going to regret, and you're going to end up with an elbow in your face.
Yeah, from across the car park, he said, I said, bro, if you're going to call me, then come and say it to my face. And to his credit, he walked right up to me.
Oh, he said
What a
it one
dumb
time and then went up.
I went up and the second time he went, you're a fucking, and that's as far as he got. And he was,
What if he was going to say you're a friendly guy who?
yeah, imagine if he was going to say that. You know what? You're fucking right. I'm going to go home. I'm going to get a good night's sleep. And I'm going to join the gym tomorrow. And I'm going to get my shit together.
I'm going to look into the.
I'm going to try harder at work.
Yeah.
know?
I'm going to stop smoking reefer and Oh man, it was funny. It was a fun place to work, and so I'm living with my partner at the time, and then it wasn't probably too long into it we had Hayley move into it. Hayley's a really interesting girl, and she had a fucking. I think I was telling you boys.
Let's do a recap of Hayley as well. I need to know as well. So where are you living? I need to kind of get some visuals of the place. It's a good place.
Yeah, it's a nice. It's a nice home. Yeah, I was on the impression my partner was working at the start. We were living with his mum in a sleep out the back, and then we found our own place. The first place was fucking horrible. It was this red zone house that had been it was derelict, so you couldn't live in it. It was unsafe to live in from the earthquakes. And we went and moved in it. My boss's brother had brought it to bowl it. He just brought it for the land. It was in a good location. And it was at the end of the street was a butcher shop. So I moved straight in. I paid like $200 a week for this 3-bedroom, 2-lounge fucking big home, but it was really old. It was fucked up, bro. Yeah. There was plants going through the walls. It was crazy. Yeah, there was only one room with carpet in it. Freezing. It was so fucking cold. And we had this Alsatian that lived out the back, and like once a week I'd throw a pig's head from the shop, and then just it was just overgrown jungle. But we had a wicked
with a bunch of pig's heads in the backyard.
Skulls.
Imagine
floating around.
Actual pig skulls.
Pig skulls floating around.
In like a rich neighborhood. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
The funny thing about pig skulls, they look exactly like human skulls.
Well, apart from the jaws, and
apart from the jaws.
But distinct.
I know that's the guy last week who called me the F word. that's not actually a pig skull.
Yeah, and we had this. I had a room with a pool table and a dartboard. We had another room that was just covered in black rubbish bags, and we'd like gotten ultraviolet spray paint and vivid and graffitied all the walls, and we had ultraviolet lights in the room.
Gosh. So you've been creative. You're
we're getting stuck into. It was a cool place, and then we found a really nice place, a 3-bedroom. We had 2 dogs there, living this sort of white picket lifestyle. Saving up to buy my own house. Hayley moved in. Hayley's a real interesting girl. She's a trans girl from Christchurch, and she had a crazy story. Like it was very interesting meeting her because I'd never heard. This is like something you would sort of see in a movie and be like, wow, that's a bit blown out of proportion.
Yes,
but it was fucking fair dinkum. That was her actual life, and she originally wasn't going to be trans. She didn't try and be trans. She got forced into being transgender. I met her she was playing netball with my partner at the time, Dave. And what had happened when she was 14, her stepdad and another woman were running an illegal prostitution ring. And they tried to pimp out Brett, this is Hayley, when she was still a boy.
Yes.
So they tried to pimp out Brett when she was about 14-year-old boy. And nobody was interested because we weren't really interested in the 14-year-old boy. So they put a wig and a dress on Brett. And Brett sold like fucking hotcakes, bro, on a cold winter's morning. You know, people were into Brett. And so...
Go on, try.
What are you gonna
say?
What sort of insensitive nonsense?
Well, at the very least, like that is some social commentary right there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're like, I'm not gonna have sex with this 14-year-old boy, and we put a wig on her, and all of a sudden she's of legal age.
Yeah,
and a woman.
Yeah,
like there's something going on there.
No, I respect
I don't.
Right?
It's strange. I don't know why that happened. I don't know. Yeah,
so full shaving routine and everything like
that.
She's
14, you know what I mean. And to be fair, would have been a very feminine gay man anyway.
Oh,
and this is her words, not mine.
Yes.
So she would have been a very feminine gay man anyway. But anyway, after the popularity of the first night, they started doing it more often, and they're giving Brett vitamins every day. Vitamins every single fucking day. And until Brett got to about 16 and was like,
I think these vitamins are giving me a pussy.
Yeah, well, because he was just like, why is my voice not broken and why do I have tits? Yeah. And they're like, it's not vitamins, they're fucking hormones. You know, and in their puberty blockers and their estrogen pills.
Are there other kids in this situation?
Nah,
as well?
There's not. There was another girl at the same school who was, I think she was a prostitute. She was a real street kid. And ironically, her mum worked at the school and still works at the school. My mum works at the same school. And so, one of her co-workers, her daughter, and Hayley ran off to Wellington together when they were about 16. And they went and Wellington, Marion Street's got all the prostitutes on it.
Right.
And so they went and lived on Marion Street. They lived on the streets for years. And Hayley got into shooting up meth big time and doing like petty crimes like stealing stockings and bras and stuff and carried on with being transgender, just sort of accepted it. And then a few years into it, she'd gotten in trouble with the police quite a bit. And she got jumped by a group of guys. And she fell into it. I think this is how the story goes. She fell into a recycling bin. She got thrown into a recycling bin and all these broken bottles all these bottles tumbled out, and she grabbed one, and she just fucking swung it, and she slashed this guy's throat, and she got done with grievous bodily harm, assault with a deadly weapon. The guy nearly died. It was really lucky he didn't die, because she would have been done with manslaughter too. But it goes from getting jumped just because she's trans to committing this crime and then getting locked up. I think she served 6 years in prison. All up. Yeah, she did about six years in prison, in a men's prison, and I think one of the first prisons she went to was Invercargill, and that's where, like, the further south you go in New Zealand, the more racist and white supremacist and the more bigoted it gets and homophobic and stuff like that. So Invercargill's right at the bottom. So she went to a prison in Invercargill. I think it's because originally that's where she was born. She went to Invercargill prison, and they denied her hormones.
Wow.
So she started growing paho. She started getting a beard, and
having problems in jail. Like
getting abused and stuff like that. Obviously, getting abused because she's trans, and then now she's growing a beard, so she's just a laughing stock. It's a really hard time for her. And the most fucked up part about it is, on the other wing was her biological father. And he was in there because he tried to murder Brett and her biological mother when she was younger. He did a drive-by shooting of a 12-gauge shotgun and unloaded probably like fucking 4 or 5 clips at them.
Just an attack on those two.
On those two, yeah, because the mum obviously left and took the baby, and so he did a drive-by shooting on them, and he was still in prison for it at the time. And so she was in the same prison as her father, who committed a drive-by shooting on her when she was a child.
It's like one of those horror movies where the person sees something and they're like, "No, he's seriously over there. He's gonna get me."
Yeah. He was on the other wing. They never contacted you. She's tried to contact your dad, I think, but he won't talk to her. He's from a wealthy Australian family, I think. Anyway, so I met her. She'd been released. She was still sort of selling her body a bit, but she hated it, and she was in a lot of debt. So I said to her, you come and live with me, girl, but you can't sell. You can't hook.
Yes.
You can't turn tricks or anything when you're living with me, especially not in my house. And I'll pay for all your bills, and you give me $100 a week, and I'll feed you, pay all the power, internet, fucking anything you need.
Yeah.
I cook dinner every single night. I work probably 6 till 6 every single day, 6 days a week, and then in the end, I ended up getting.
It's easy to remember. 6 till 6, 6 days a week.
Yeah, had Sundays off, and
666.
Oh, it's time to
Oh
see some
my
patterns
God.
here,
666.
everyone.
666.
Starting to see some patterns here.
Yeah.
So what made you such a great person to take her in? What was the situation?
Oh man, she was such a cool person. She was so
Really?
much fun. One of the funniest people I've ever met. Like a real blast. And yeah, I, to be fair, I just fell for it. It was a horrible situation. You remember at this point, I'd already been homeless, and I'd had my battle with drugs and my battle with my own sexuality and stuff like that. And I'd only just came out and stuff like that at this point. So I was still quite new to it. And so I just took her in. I just accepted. I just said, and your partner's cool as well at the time. Yeah, he was really good friends with her, and so he was.
Oh,
He
nice.
played netball with her and stuff like that. So he was really cool with her. I think it was even his suggestion at the start.
Nice.
And she was a good addition to the household. So no, it was good. It was just seemed like the right thing to do. I didn't even think twice about it. I just said, "Come and live with us." I'm like, what are you doing in this situation? You shouldn't be in it.
That's perfect. Yeah.
It's just like a roommate, really, by the sounds of it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Just like a roommate. Yeah, but so I wasn't just going to hear that. And go, right, fucking, well, all the best. And you know what I mean? I'm not that sort of person.
Oh, man, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's
crazy.
crazy.
Oh, yeah, that sucks. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm literally, like, addicted to drugs. I'm out here on the street. Oh, whoa, that sucks.
Yeah, I think she gotten clean.
Well, I got to get home.
That was also the thing, too. She'd gotten clean by then. Like, I didn't want her.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because for 2 reasons. One, I can't trust her if she was on drugs. And especially if she was still injecting fucking meth. And 2, I couldn't probably trust myself. I wouldn't really want to be around. You know what I mean? Because I'd only really gotten clean in the last 12 months or something. Yeah, so wouldn't have been a good idea.
And that takes a lot of grit to even not even subconsciously put yourself in that situation, but to be like, I've got to fucking remove myself from that.
Yeah, because that's exactly so.
Also, being around someone coming off drugs is the shittest thing in the world.
It's horrible.
It's fucked.
It's fucking.
It's
terrible,
the pain in the ass.
So she was coming off at the time, or she'd come off?
No, she'd come off years ago. Yeah, she'd come off. She'd been released,
nice.
I think, a year or two, couple of years prior to me meeting her. So she was clean. And obviously, once you go to prison, you get clean.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But you can't shave in prison. Is that a thing?
Well, when she went to other prisons, she was sweet. She went to two more prisons, and she was fine. She got hormones and everything. So
nice.
yeah, she was sweet as.
Gosh.
Well, not sweet as. She was still in fucking prison. You know what I mean?
But still, I didn't know they allowed hormones and all that
it was
sort
just
of
in
stuff through the
Invercargill
prison.
because they're cunts like that. Yeah, just in Invercargill because they're fucking they're horrible cunts like that. But
So it's the three, the gang.
The three amigos,
Yeah,
yeah.
three amigos.
And at the time, my partner was working. He did quite a few different jobs, but he was always sort of working pretty like good officey jobs and stuff like that. And everything added up. We went on a couple overseas holidays and
Together, the three?
yeah, no, just me and
just
Dave.
you
And
guys,
then the second time it was me, Dave, and a Samoan couple.
Oh,
And we went to Tonga and Fiji, and it was cool. It was a really cool time.
Yeah.
And I was working like 2 jobs pretty much at this point, and saving up. And we went to after about 3.5 years, we went to Porirua for a netball championship. My partner,
Where's Porirua?
Porirua was like just out of Wellington, in the
yeah.
North Island, just out of the capital. And my partner at the time was playing netball for New Zealand originally.
So he's a big netball player.
He was, in the men's team, but yeah.
I didn't know they. I
As
didn't
far
even.
as big netball.
I was gonna
players.
say,
as
I didn't even know they had men's netball
Yeah,
at
as far
a
as
high
men's,
level.
yeah, exactly. So as far as men's
yeah.
netball goes, he was a big player, and he was playing for Canterbury so he was, which is like a regional team. It'd be like playing for New South Wales or something.
Yeah.
So he, that's more like a state, but still he went to this fucking championship, and I went along with him, and while I was there, I got this phone call from the landlord, South African fella, family friend, and he goes, "Oh, Elliot, there's a bit of an issue," and I was like, "Oh, what's going on, bro? Like, how can I help?" And he's like, "You haven't paid rent in 9 weeks." I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, you haven't paid rent in 9 weeks. It'll be 10 weeks this week." I was like, "What are you talking about?" And so I hit Dave up. He was he did all the accounts and everything like that.
So he's like,
yeah.
Dave, you gotta.
I was like, "What's
Yeah.
going on, bro?" And I was I was like, "What's happening?" He said, "You haven't paid rent in 9 weeks," and he goes, "Oh, that's because they changed the account." And he always had a really good excuse for everything. You know what I mean? He was very fast on his feet, very charming, and he was like, "Oh, they changed the account on us, and I've been sending it to the old one." So you're sweet as, and then I didn't think anything of it until I got back from Porirua. And there was like an eviction notice on the door.
You got one warning and then an eviction.
Well, I'd actually had heaps. He'd been contacting Dave. I'd had heaps. He'd been contacting Dave, so I had fucking an eviction notice on the door.
Yeah.
I had my phone was cut off, my power was cut off, and my car had been repossessed. That I'd paid cash for, so I didn't even know how it could be repossessed.
So you're walking home together and seeing this site?
Well, we pull in.
Yeah, you both pull in
we
together.
Both pull in, and the car's gone.
Yeah.
And there was a girl who was living there. It wasn't Hayley, she was with us. There was another girl living there.
Oh, so someone had already moved in.
No, there was another girl living there. We were renting a room.
Oh, right.
Towards
Yeah.
the end, we were renting a room, and she was like, "Oh, the fucking car got towed because she didn't even say why. She just said a guy came around and towed it, and that was it." And I was like, "Why don't you fucking stop him?" She's like, "No, he was scary." I was like, "Fuck you, bitch!" She like stitched me up. I can't believe you did this to
Mandy.
me. Yeah.
Make sure my car stays here.
Yeah, come on, like how many fucking? It's so easy, but no, I mean to be fair, she was like a little white girl from a sheltered sort of upbringing. So like a big guy's like, I've got to take this car. So she just go, okay.
It's hard to go up against an eviction person.
Okay,
like
sweet as. Yeah, if you don't know they actually don't have any power, and you can be like, no, you can fuck off, bro.
Or do they actually have no power?
Of course, yeah, they don't have any
Really?
power, bro. You got no power.
I don't have a
whatsoever.
fucking badge.
Only unless you're a bailiff. Get fucked, bro.
Really?
Fuck off.
I didn't even know
unless
that.
Unless you're a bailiff, get the fuck out of here. I ain't.
They're
That
pretty
being said, if
insistent,
anyone
though.
said I've got to tow your car right now,
they're
I'd be like,
insistent.
oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. If somebody said I've got to tow your car right now, I'd be like, fuck off, bro. Come back.
Really?
Come back with a bailiff.
I'll literally be checking bus and train timetables straight away. I'll be like, okay, well I'll get that one.
Yeah,
It's
I would-
always huge cunts do that job. They're always big boys.
cunts,
It's always
they're
like
ex-bikies and shit. like that.
big Lebanese guys, big Islanders. It's always
Yeah.
like big.
They're like,
dudes.
I don't even know. This is just what I've told that needs to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would literally.
No,
hand
they're not
them
even
my-
that nice. They're like, this car is going. They're like very.
I would
insistent.
hand them my keys and then look up on Google what is going on.
That's literally the same thing. I wouldn't question it at all. If someone
No.
said I'd got to take your car, I'd be like, oh dang.
Not unless
I would literally be
Yeah,
like,
sad for me, I guess.
not unless they're wearing a blue uniform. You can fuck right off.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Fucking oath. Yeah. That's the only cunt I'll listen to.
that's good to know.
Sorry.
That's
Yeah.
good to know.
I think it is if you get it there though, and your car's already on the back of their truck, you're fucked.
You're fucked.
Oh,
You're fucked.
really?
But if the car's still on the ground, you can be like, no, fuck off, don't
Fuck
touch
off,
my
you just
fucking
stand
car.
there. I just
You
stand-
can
just
be
stand
like,
in front of it,
and
yeah.
they'll leave. They'll give up. They'll bail.
They can't physically
No.
move you.
Nah,
or
they can't
anything.
move you. They can't do anything. If you just stand there and they can't hook it up, they'll just leave.
Oh wow.
They'll come back. Yeah, and so I went from, in 1 month, being pre-approved from my very first home loan. And one month I went from being pre-approved for my very first home loan to sleeping in a car.
So you arrive, car's gone, she's there, they
Yeah.
took the car, and then you have to stay in the car that night.
Yeah, we had 3 cars at the time, so I stayed in my other car.
Yeah.
Oh no, not that night. We got back in, and we sorted it all out. And I found out, like Dave had just told me basically, I haven't been working. I don't know what he was doing with the money, but everything he'd been telling me was a lie. He wasn't working. He was just fucking. He was a con artist.
So what did he say his job was?
He was working for Zero.
Zero.
And sales or something.
Nothing.
Yeah. Oh, it should have been a giveaway, but yeah, he went for like sort of like a telecom companies like Vodafone.
And you look it
like
up,
that.
there's no Zero? Is that...
No, Zero is one of the biggest companies
okay,
in the world.
right.
Yeah, it was.
Say, no, I'm working for
MYOB.
unemployed.
Yeah,
That's
zero
why,
with an X, right?
That's why, yeah, Zero with an X.
Yeah,
And
we
that's
use
why
that
I
at
gave
work.
him charge of all the money because he was like onto it, dude. He convinced me, this is, I'm really good with money, so you just leave it to Beaver,
Yeah.
Because I wasn't. I was not good. I used to be a drug addict. I was terrible.
And you're
mate.
young, he's a lot older than
He
you
was 6
as
years
well.
older than me
He's-
and stuff
yeah.
like that. I was young, so I was just working 2 jobs. I was never really at home. I was doing like 75 hours a week. And then he was just texting me, just siphoning everything.
Goodness.
And
You've
so-
just done outside of the siphoning part, but they're trusting him. That's is what every straight marriage is.
Yeah, of course,
Like
yeah.
one dude making a bunch of money, being like, "I trust you."
Yeah, 100%. And like,
So,
because I came
yeah.
from such a humble beginnings, that's what traditional marriages were. That's what I was raised looking at. Where both my parents were, but like a lot of people around me, where the husband would go to work and
Yeah.
And to be fair, Dave worked as well, but I was just like, I'm going to provide, I'm going to try and save up, get a house and get these holidays going and stuff like that. So I turned my whole life around and changed everything. And I changed everything about myself, came out of the closet, stopped doing drugs, changed everything, which was a great thing to do. Worked my fucking ring out. Like, I'm doing 70 to 100 hours a week. Worked my absolute ring out, and then I find out my partner's a con artist. And it wasn't long after that, it was only a few months after that, he just disappeared.
How does he drop it on you? I'm sure. And does he get an elbow to the face at that point?
It's funny, but I was in love, man. That was the thing.
So he told you, and you're just like, how do you react?
Well, what he told me was, I haven't been working, I couldn't find a new job,
Yeah.
and I'm really sorry, I didn't want to tell you because you're working so hard, and I didn't want to...
It's perfect. It's a perfect lie.
Perfect lie, and so then
But playing on your emotion as well.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
But where did your money go? Did you follow it up with like, but where's my money?
Money
been
got,
going?
and that's what I said, and it wasn't until I looked on his phone on the banking app when he was asleep one night. I just saw like it just been transferred to a different account.
It's so funny because most people are worried about text messages. If you're going through your partner's phone, you're looking for like a text message. You're going through bank statements.
I have to go through
going
bank
on.
statements,
Yeah.
bro. Yeah. That's just there. It was completely different to your normal scenario. Nothing you would prepare yourself for. And we used to sit in bed watching the crime shows, watching con artist shows of people getting conned by these people who come into their lives, and going, "Fuck! How the fuck would you let yourself do that? How the fuck could you not see it coming?" And we would laugh about it, and he was sitting there next to me, conning me and laughing about it next to me, like, what a fucking, like when I think about it, I'm like, man, there was some evil shit going on.
He's like, yeah, that's crazy. He's just like in the moment, like sending money to his different bank account. He's like,
Yeah.
who would do something like that?
Yeah. Laughing about it, I thinking it's funny, you know what I mean? Like, fucking absolutely soulless.
He's really one of those like gay politicians who was like a real don't let him get married, but like it came out on the side that guy was sucking dick for like 40 years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
and
bit
he tried,
like
because
crazy
he tried
like
to
that.
pay a prostitute with a dinner card.
Wait, what?
Oh, this is some politician. Or
Yeah.
Oh, I thought
One
you were
guy
saying
got fucked
your
like
husband. No. Oh, no, so you
Well,
never get married. You never get
No,
married.
we got engaged. So we got engaged. Yeah, we got engaged. I did the whole thing
Okay.
where I asked his dad for permission and everything like that. When
I knew there was that, but you never tied the knot.
never tied the knot.
Yeah.
Never tied the knot. Thank. But not that it really mattered, because after 2 years in New Zealand, if you live with somebody, they're entitled to half your stuff anyway. So
Yeah.
and
9
so
months here.
That was the issue where
months.
when we split up and he disappeared, I tried to go to court because he'd put stuff in my name. Bills in my name. So in the end of it, this is the story he told me. He went back to his mum's. I went back to my parents, and was sort of living in a car too at the time because we weren't really getting along very well. I was like fucking stressed out and.
So you're continuing life in this car together. You're just
No,
going
he's
to work.
gone. He's gone back to his parents.
He goes-
I'm
yeah.
working. I'm trying to work 2 jobs, and then it wasn't until after he went back to his mum's and pretty much disappeared.
Yeah.
And I went back. I went to my mum's. That's when and my phone number was in the name of it. That's when I started getting all the phone calls. People being like, "Yo, what's all this money?" And fucking, it turned out after about a few months, it all sort of came out of the wash. And in the end, he stole at least $15,000 from me and left me in $17,500 of debt. He ticked up cars, fucking credit cards, phone bills.
You're in contact with him when you're figuring all this stuff out?
Trying to, but he's just avoiding me like the plague.
Yeah.
He's avoiding me. He's not answering my messages, and he's just like, he's basically just saying, no, I don't have any money. And then I'm like, well, you owe me this much money.
Yeah.
And he's just like, and just lying the whole time. I went to the fraud department, tried to get the police involved, and they said, look, you've been, I went to the police station, local one.
Yeah.
In my suburb. And the guy just looked, I told him what had happened. The guy looked at me and he goes, fuck off the Central, mate. We don't deal with that shit here. And that was it.
What do you mean, the fraud stuff?
Yeah, go to a fraud department, go to someone in Central, talk to a detective. He's like, fuck off to Central, mate. We don't deal with that shit here. So that's what the police said to me. So I went to the Central station, lodged a fraud thing, but they said, look, because you're living together for over 2 years, you got to go to civil court and do a divorce and split everything. So I would have paid another $10,000 just to get half of $17,000 of debt taken off, you know what I mean? Which would have only been what, $8,500, you know?
And what's going on in your mind at this time? Are you still in love? Is this slowly kind of like you're just all over the place?
I'm completely numb. I'm completely numb, just full of anxiety, just having like probably about 10 anxiety attacks a day. I'm trying to work. I sort of spit it at one of the apprentices because he tried to step me out, so I pinned him up against the wall.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I pinned him up against the wall, and he called his mum. Went home, he called his mum, and they took photos of it and said, if you don't fire him, we're going to press assault charges. Because I was like 23 at this point, and he was like 16.
Oh, damn.
But he stepped to me.
Yeah.
So I just fucking pinned him up against the wall.
Oh, you're going through all this stuff.
And I just pinned him up against the wall and said, fuck, bro. You know, do you want to go? And he just started bursting into tears, started crying, ran off, called his mum.
Wait, so he's been a fucking wise ass, and then you pin it, like bail him up against the wall, and then he runs to his fucking mum.
Yeah, he stepped me out. He stepped me out. He's like, "Come on, then, can't let's go." And so I fucking pinned him up against the wall.
You fucking cunt.
Yeah, I did it in the black spot too, where there was no cameras at work. But the problem was, he tried to walk away from me, and he steps out the door, and all you can see is my hand come out the door, grab him by the back of the neck, pull him back in. He flies, and I pinned him up against the freezer door. Fuck.
I imagine you did like a Scooby-Doo run, like through.
It was, yeah. It looked exactly like that. They had that on replay on the cameras too. Yeah. So I got sacked. Basically, I got paid to leave. I said, pay me month's wages and I'll leave now.
Yeah.
So he paid me month's wages. I had no job, and I had no job. I had nowhere to live. Really, I was sort of living at my mum's, so it wasn't working. I was sleeping in my car every other night.
There's no butcher place you could go to. There's no other.
I could,
place
but I was such an emotional wreck. I was so fucking frazzled. You know what I mean? I was like, I'd just been betrayed.
Why, man? It's not like anything.
Yeah, I know. Like, it's just the ultimate betrayal. I'm just weak, bro. You know that new millennial generation. We can't handle those sort of knocks.
Does the gangster come out in you even a little bit, where you're like, I want to go beat the fuck out of him?
Oh, 100%. That's what I'm thinking.
I put a hit on him. Yeah.
You did.
Yeah, I put a hit on him.
Like to get him
no,
killed.
hypothetically you did.
Yeah,
Hypothetically.
I took it off. I took it off. I took it off.
No, you never put it on.
He never put it on. He never put one on.
Yeah, you put like Simpsons Hit and Run. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah. Simpsons hit and run on him. He put,
Yeah.
But yeah,
I had an ex, right, and she stole 20 grand of me when she left.
Wait a second.
And for
a quick, how did this happen?
I don't.
It turns out Mitch just has that fucking hectic story.
You can't turn around and beat a woman up.
Yeah, it's
you
funny.
can't. You just can't. Doesn't matter how much money she steals. So it's interesting
Bro,
to think of a gay relationship.
How's this? You can.
Yeah.
He could have beat the fuck out of him for doing it. And the cop would have been like, oh, yeah, I get it. No cop is looking at me after.
A quick one, Mitch. Quick
No.
spark notes.
No. Oh, she was crazy. She went to a mental institute for like 10 weeks in the last 3 months of our...
Okay, yeah, no, that's good. That's all I need to know.
We're here for...
Yeah.
We got other shit going on.
Nah, so yeah, don't get me wrong, I fucking really wanted to, but
I wanted to belt him,
man. It's funny you say that too, because I was talking to fucking someone the other night, Saturday night, and he's like, I was sort of explaining what it's like being gay, and I said it's a weird thing that like something you never experience as a straight guy is somebody you can go from someone you want to fuck to someone you want to someone you want to smash in a matter of 30 seconds. You know what I mean? So like you never talk to a woman and be like, oh, you're really cool. And then she sees something, you'd be like, fuck, I'm going to smash you, bitch. Just go outside. You know what I mean? But
I'm gonna.
I guess I are.
I'm gonna disagree.
But you're never gonna call her out and be like, come on then, fuck, you want to talk shit to me?
It's not in the realm of possibility.
But for me it is.
Yeah,
not that violence is good, and I'm not gonna do it anyway. But
but the options
there. Yeah,
like I had
practical.
I had a friend, this chick. She lived with a couple, these two dudes, and it was exactly like that. Like they'd get into fucking punch ups in the living room.
Yeah.
And she's just like this sweet girl, just like trying to enjoy her fucking, chicken schnitty or whatever.
Yeah. I really wanted to, but at the same time I was so heartbroken, and coincidentally I bumped into my best friend who I used to do when I was a teenager, used to do all the drugs and drug dealing with and stuff like that. And he'd just broken up with his girlfriend and I had no job. I was cashed up.
Bash each other.
Had some cash. That's a fucking good idea.
There we go.
And so I was just crashing on his couch, just doing magic mushrooms every fucking day.
The worst
of the
person
week.
on earth to bump into. It's almost like the movie you like.
It was, it was. It was literally like the universe just intertwined our paths randomly too, really randomly. And I seen him. We started hanging out again, and then I was like, I got some money, and he's like, do you want to sell some fucking MDMA? I was like, yeah, I do. I need some money. I'm fucking in this much debt. Told him everything was going on. So I was just crashing on his couch, and we were just fucking eating mushrooms like there was no tomorrow. I start selling MDMA with him, and then he ends up moving. I got another job somewhere. Wasn't very good at it. I wasn't holding it down well. I was fucking
what
all over the shop. Still butchery. Butchery, yeah. But I was all over the shop, and he ended up having to move back up to top of the south where we're from because his mum committed suicide. It didn't work, but she attempted suicide. She attempted suicide. And so he had to go back up to top of the south to sort of help take care of her. And I ended up just moving up, and I was just living out of a car. And at the time, his older brother was getting in a really bad way. He was on like a $90,000 rotating debt with some really powerful players. And we had a friend up in Auckland who'd just gotten a really good source for like fucking pure, like 98%. We tested this shit. I know everybody's like, oh, I've got fucking pure cake. We tested that. We actually tested it, you know what I mean? Because we were getting it imported in.
Yeah.
And so he was getting it imported in, and he was up in Auckland. So because I was I just ended up being a bit of a freelance gangster because I was so angry. I was so fucking angry.
Got a chip on your shoulder now.
Yeah, big chip on my shoulder. I was spewing. So I was like, you know what? Fuck this. And so I was living in top of the south. I'd base myself there, and then I'd go up to Auckland. I'd be there for a couple of weeks. I'd move a swag of cocaine down to Wellington, flick it off. While I was in Wellington, I'd catch the ferry, go over to top of the south. I'd help this fella cook some fucking meth. He was cooking methamphetamine at the time.
You were Jesse.
Yeah.
Wait,
I don't know what that means.
Oh, Breaking Bad.
I've never seen it, bro.
I've never seen Breaking
Bad. He lived it.
I
lived it. I don't need to see it. Everybody always asks me about Breaking Bad, bro. Do you watch Breaking Bad? I don't want to take my fucking work home with me, dog. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So was this the first time that you were a gay gangster, though?
This is the first
That's why
time I was
Kareem
an
can't want
openly gay gangster.
Magic
yeah.
Mike.
It's the first time I was an openly gay gangster, and everybody kept calling me Ronnie Cray.
Why is that? Who's that?
Ronnie Cray was like, from the Cray twins, and he was like, because I'm a twin and I'm gay, and he was a gay gangster, him and his twin brother, but he was gay. Because I would meet Patchies.
Wait,
the Michael Jackson documentary. That's
they
what
were
Jackson
brother. There were two brothers, twins.
Twin brothers, yeah.
They were
Ronnie
gangsters.
and Reggie Cray.
The Salamancas.
And Cray twins, I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
You're saying
Breaking
We're just
Bad.
going to keep it doing Breaking
I
Bad.
haven't seen Breaking Bad, bro. I haven't seen any of the.
You know what?
Bad.
Let's talk about Breaking Bad.
Go for it, yeah.
In this fictional show.
Gus Fring was a pretty bad guy.
Yeah, so the first time I knew this guy was doing it, but I didn't really want to get too involved. And then I heard he was in a bad way. I went round to, I don't know how much I can say about this without.
Do like hypotheticals? You can kind of switch things.
Change names.
Yeah, change names.
Really just like, okay, you know what, I can do this. Like it's
Just
so,
err on the safe side, bro. 100%.
Yeah, literally, and keep it as fake. And
so it was in a big workshop. And inside this workshop was this fucking wicked, like Mad Max Nissan Pajero had been kitted out, had armor plates, had a blowtorch on the front of it on the bull bars. So I walk into this big workshop, and there's a door. You open this door, and there's this big wrought iron fucking gate with spikes coming out of it. and that opens up, and we go through it, and there's this big Pajero, and on the tape deck, it's the first time I walk into this meth lab, and there's a tape deck playing Pure Imagination by Willy Wonka. Come with me, and you'll see.
A world of
pure imagination.
They're setting it up to be like over the top.
But he was cooked, and he was smoking a bowl, smoking meth from the flamethrower on the front of the Nissan Pajero.
That's very cool.
Very cool, bro. And you know what I mean? So I'm walking in,
very-
and all of this is going on. I'm like, fuck, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And there's this big bottle of fucking Deep Spring full of GHB. And so, yeah, I just hooked in. I was just picking mud, bro. I just started blasting fucking fat bowls and hooking into this GHB. I go after Bunnings to go get this stuff.
What's GHB?
GHB is like jungle juice, bro, like liquid ecstasy, like.
And you smoke it?
No, you drink it, bro. They come in mils. You buy them, they're like $10 a mil or something like that, and you put like say 5 mils in a big drink. And they fuck you up, son. They fuck you up, bro. They get you so fucked. You're flying, bro. You're absolutely flying.
Let me
You just go loopy.
GHB.
GHB, you go loopy, dog. Yeah, gay people love it. They have heaps of gay sex on it. Yeah.
Oh,
Jungle
backspace.
Recent searches.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's GHB? I've never heard of that.
Why is your last 2 searches Sydney Sauna and GHB?
Yeah, no one in my community is looking that up, so I have no idea about it. I've never heard of it. So, anyway, Elliot, please.
Thank you. Yeah. So I just start hooking in. There's a false wall. There's an old like a big chimney, extractor fan chimney that goes up, shoots through the roof, and the wall that it's attached to is a false wall. So you pull this chain and it lifts up, and inside there's this little wee room where there's a meth lab in there. So I just started working in there, and I'd be working in there. We'd work from sort of like midnight to 6 in the morning, just depends. Yeah. It would always be like late at night, middle of the night, no talking. We'd have the sperm suits on, everything, the fucking masks, and
What do you
Music.
just call?
Can you listen to music?
fuck no, bro. You're
Oh,
going
it's
to be
just
quiet as fuck,
silence.
bro. Yeah,
Yeah.
super quiet. You don't really want any electronics in the room anyway because of all the vapor burning off, and you can have explosions. And yeah, it was done through a way I'm not going to talk about how it's done, just because like very few people. There's maybe like 10 people in New Zealand doing it.
Because your stuff was like blue, and that was the whole reason it sold.
Shut up with
sold
your
more.
stupid references.
I will say, do you know what? I will say one thing that we did that was pretty funny was putting vape fluid in it, so you had massive clouds.
Oh,
Yeah. So you're puffing
Smart.
this because people love puffing.
that's a selling point.
They love a big dragon puff, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you're smoking bowls, you want like a real big dragon puff. I mean, obviously a lot of people slam it, but that's really in big cities. I got into slamming when I moved up to... Oh, no, when I moved to Auckland. It was probably actually when I was in Christchurch.
Just clarifying, slamming you mean injecting.
Injecting,
Yeah.
Slamming's
I'm going to chuck
injecting,
piss.
So this is injecting meth.
Injecting.
I didn't even
yeah.
know that was
It's
a thing.
Fucking unbelievable, bro.
Right.
It's better than life itself.
Really?
That's amazing, yeah.
How
The only-
popular is it to inject?
It's really popular in the gay community.
Yeah.
Really popular in the gay community. Lots of gay people slam, and then they'll have fucking 12-hour sex
Right.
sessions. Yeah. Big orgies and stuff like that. I'll tell you about this orgy I went to one time when I was in Auckland.
Yeah.
And this guy invites me over because I wanted to get a hit. Anyway, I'd probably been up for 3 days. I only had like a small baggie left. And he hits me up. He goes, "You want to come over? I'm having an orgy."
Yeah.
There's 6 of us here. And I was like, "Yeah, sweet, man. I'm keen as. I'll head over in a really nice loft apartment in the CBD in Auckland City." And I roll over there, bro, and I get up, and I'll fucking walk into the apartment. And there's 5 guys sitting around the table shooting up. And then there's one guy dressed in lingerie in a trough. And I go, "Where's the toilet?" And they went, "He's the toilet."
And is this number 1s and 2s?
Just not. Well, you're not really shitting when you're high as anyway. You know,
Right.
because you're not
Yeah.
eating and stuff like that. So no, you're not shitting. You don't want to be. Do you know what? I just think that would be so rude. I'd be fucking upset if somebody just went over and just took a shit on that guy because it would stink the room out. You know what I mean?
The pee doesn't stink it up.
Oh, the acid piss on drugs.
Acid
would be
piss on drugs
It'd be
stinks.
bad.
So
Thanks,
it was.
bro.
Could you smell it when you walked in?
Nah, you couldn't really
guess.
smell it at that point. He was in a side room too. He
Yeah,
was in a
yeah.
side room too, and we were all in the lounge, and there was just fucking it was just like plastic coverings on all the furniture, and it was just a cesspool, bro. Absolute.
How long do you think they'd been there? This had just kind of been set up.
This had been set up that night, and we were
Yeah.
probably there from like 9 in the morning to probably about 9 at night till about 11 o'clock the next morning. They went to brunch afterwards.
With the piss, dude?
Yeah, isn't it the gayest
With the
thing?
piss, dude?
Yeah, of course, yeah, bro. It's his idea. Isn't it the
fucked
gayest
up.
thing you've ever heard?
So he literally gets out from the truck. He's like, okay, so brunch?
Brunch? Yeah, it was like that. And I was just like, I'm going to go home and wash. I feel fucking disgusting.
I reckon
you know what I mean?
I reckon the piss dude ordered apple juice. I'd bet.
Oh, I need it too, yeah.
Wait, so he's there all night long. So you're with them all night long as well?
Yeah, I'm with them. I'm with them
You
till
took a
11
few
in the
trips
morning.
to the bathroom? You took a few trips to the bathroom?
Yeah, I took a few trips to the bathroom because I probably had about 3 needles that night. So because there was just so many free drugs, I'm hitting it, bro. And like, fuck, if there's free drugs, I'm getting stuck in. But
Was that your first time urinating on someone?
no, fuck no,
Oh,
bro.
so this is-
Like
yeah.
when I was 17, I fisted a Dutch man in a gay sauna. You know what I mean? I've been, yeah, or 18. You know, I've hooked in, bro. I was always a 17.
Fisted a Dutch man in a gay song.
Yeah,
Yeah, they call it the Dutch oven.
yeah.
That should have gotten so much more. That should have gotten so much more. Okay. They call it the Dutch oven.
It's a sauna.
It was weird
was right
too.
there.
It was weird. We were having this. This was when I was real young. This was probably my first orgy, actually. That was probably my first.
You were 17 first orgy.
17 or 18, my first like big orgy. And there was probably like 10 or 11 guys in this room, and me and this other guy were double penetrating this Dutch guy with a Prince Albert piercing on his cock.
Yeah.
And he was like weird. You could tell he's into BDSM, and then everybody sort of had their fun, and everybody left, and it was just me and him here. Me and him left
You
in
and
the
the
room.
Dutch guy, yeah.
Me and the Dutch guy, and he goes, "Do you want to fist me?" And they go, and I was like,
I'm more into elbows.
"Well, I got elbow deep.
Elbow deep.
I got elbow deep."
I'm surprised you weren't able to make him talk like a mannequin.
It was terrifying, bro. I was so scared. I was
Come
a young
on.
fella. I was still a gangster. And this
You
was
thought
in
you
the
were going
hood,
to lose
and
your
all-
arm? You're like,
I thought I was going to kill him, bro. I
Oh no.
I thought I was going to kill the guy, and everybody was going to find out. The ambulance would come, the police would go. I'd be like, you know what I mean? I'd have to go to court, elbow deep, bro. So I just went, yeah, go on, you know, because I'm like, when are you really going to get that opportunity again? And I knew that at 18, so.
And you haven't fisted any Dutchmen since?
Nah,
We need to go
Not a
into
Dutch
that.
person,
We
no,
need
I
to
don't
go into
think
that a
so.
little bit more. Elbow deep. I can't even really wrap my head around it.
yeah.
at all.
So I like.
Can you wrap your arm around it though?
He could.
So
Yeah,
how are you going?
I got my hand in, and then I get up to my wrist, and then I'm probably like getting up to about my forearm,
Yeah.
and then he just keeps saying, "Keep going, keep going, keep going." He was calling all the shots.
Yeah.
And I got up to about my elbow, and I'm just like, bro. I looked down. He's like, "Where are we?" I said, "We're up to my elbow."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh my god, that's so fucking hot. Punch me." And I'm like, "What?" And he goes, "Punch me." And I was like, "What?" And he goes, "Fucking punch
With
me,
which
bro."
hand?
With my left hand. No,
With
my
the
left
one that was in there?
So I'm throwing like big.
You're like Muhammad Ali.
Uppercuts,
yeah.
bro. Yeah, I'm just throwing big uppercuts. Rumble in the jungle, you know what I mean? This is
You
Thriller in
just got to,
Manila.
like,
I'm just
shoulder.
throwing massive uppercuts into this guy's
Bro.
sphincter. Yeah, yeah.
Could
it was,
have you
and I
gone
was
shoulder? Could have
terrifying.
you gone shoulder?
I probably could have, like, looking back now. If I knew what I knew now,
With hindsight.
if I knew, yeah, hindsight's 2020. If I knew what I knew now back then, I definitely would have gone for shoulder.
Good enough for shoulder.
But
Is this a thing? Is shoulder been done before?
Of course it has, bro.
Shoulders
Of
been
course,
done
it's been
before.
done before. Absolutely, of course, it's been. I've seen 3 arms inside a man.
Who was this guy fucking before? King Kong?
Wait a second. Three arms. What are you talking?
It was a video. It was a video, to be fair, but I've seen, yeah.
Three arms.
You can barely get 2 fingers up. Actually, never mind. Never mind what you
I've seen a chick on a video shooting American football out of her pussy. That doesn't mean you see it around every corner.
Nah, exactly,
Like-
yeah.
Was it surreal? Was it kind of like a broke in the Matrix?
It was
Yeah.
surreal, bro. Yeah, it was like, yeah, especially
Yeah.
going there that young.
And you're
Yeah,
17 years
17
old.
or 18, yeah, and I've already fisted somebody.
Did you
You
do
can't
the
vote,
big,
but you can-
did the big
Yeah.
wash that you see like chefs do, like right up to the elbow afterwards in the basin?
Abso-fucking-lutely,
How was-
100%. I had a condom on my arm, too. I had an extra large condom, rolled it all the way down my arm.
Yeah, and that's for all the guys that say regular condoms don't fit them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you were doing this bareback.
I like
No,
that.
like
so
in
you
the,
had
yeah,
a condom on
now
the,
I
on the
do.
hand.
Now I do, but like then I would never done it before, so I was like, I'm putting a condom. I don't know why I just thought that.
I like the idea of safe fisting though. The guys.
Yes, yeah.
You
He's like, yeah,
Fist
use protection.
Because
Yeah.
when I
Put a condom over
when
that
I
hand,
double
mate.
penetrated him, I didn't wear a condom. So, but I put one on my arm and I fisted him. Yeah,
That's pretty funny.
That's great.
yeah. So
That's-
yes.
Was
yeah.
it attractive for you? Was that like
No, it was terrifying, bro. I was terrified. That's all I felt was terror. All I thought was I'm going to kill this man. I'm going to tear his anal wall.
Yeah.
And I'm going to kill him. And then
Well,
I'm
what's
going to get
the,
arrested. And then I'm going to be... This is how I'm going to come out of the closet.
And you haven't come out at that
killing
time.
a Dutch guy by fisting him in a sauna. And that's all I could think. That was like...
That's a highlight, by the way. That's going to be a highlight.
Dutch.
That elbow is intense, bro. That's
intense.
Like
bro,
I could,
look, my
could
forearm's
see.
not...
Yeah.
I mean, look at the diameter of my forearm.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you had this similar size.
Exactly the same. Look the same.
What they call it, the Flying Dutchman. Hello. Hello.
Yeah, talk
The
about...
crying Dutchman.
Wait, guys, talk
Maybe.
about a Dutch oven.
You fucking
Nah, that doesn't work.
Is that the craziest thing you've experienced sexually now? Oh, no, I guess. What would that be? I'm scared to find out. This is...
Fuck, I don't know, bro.
Yeah.
That's really hard. It's a tough one. I don't know. That would be one of the
Is
most...
that in top 5?
That'd be in top 5 just because it was one of my early experiences and as a,
Yeah. Nowadays, you can just go all the way in there and start swimming around, kind of like the Little Mermaid or something.
Well, like I've fisted people since then,
Yeah.
if you know what I mean, and it hasn't been that profound,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, because if you don't get up to elbow, it's basically...
Well,
doing
just
nothing.
it just wasn't the first time, I've been
Yeah.
up to elbow again.
Oh, you went back.
I'm always going for elbow. You know what I mean? It's always the end game.
You never recreate that high. You can never get
Nah,
back
you
there.
can never get back there. Yeah.
They call him Elbow Elliot for a reason.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Call him
Now-
Elliot the Elbow.
Fighting or fucking, I'm getting to the elbow. Yeah.
The guy's not there going, punch me anymore. Elliot's there going, I'm going to punch you.
Oh yes, bro.
I'm sorry.
That'd be one of them. Punt. Oh,
I think
it's
Elliot just made
horrible to
the joke of the show. Whether fighting or fucking, I'm getting up to the elbow.
100%.
I'm going to do this. This is delayed to go down.
Goes beyond knuckle
Very
deep.
weak.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're at a bit of a cliffhanger, but I think we might have to wrap the first episode because we're recording 2
Wait,
episodes.
before we
Oh,
wrap
we're
it,
recording
before we
too,
wrap
aren't we?
it,
Yes.
have you ever fisted anyone, Karim?
I've
No,
yeah.
I thought I had until I heard this.
Has anybody ever thought about? Has anybody ever been like? So I'm not instinctively into fisting, but if it gets brought up, I mean, I'm always down for a party. You know what I mean?
And you were at a young age.
I was at a young age.
Yeah, I can't actually wrap my head around the idea of fisting at all.
Well, I just
Like,
thought to
it's
myself.
so-
I just thought to myself, it's like how often does somebody go? Turns out quite often. But I thought
Yeah.
to myself, how often is this opportunity going to arise? And back then I just thought it's probably not going to happen very often.
Yeah.
Now I could probably fist somebody every week, but I'm not going to.
Quick, and also on the cleanup. How was the actual cleanup getting out from elbow deep?
It wasn't too bad. If he
Yeah.
was well prepared, he was obviously
Yeah.
a seasoned veteran.
Came out just like cleaner than when it went in.
I just rolled the condom off, and that was me.
Condom, true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But even then, there was nothing on there. It was just lots of lube. Yeah.
Gay guys eat so much fibre.
Yeah, you have to be. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you just don't go into that like as a first time thing. It's
Oh,
not his
100%.
first
Like,
rodeo.
most people who are into it, they won't eat for like 24 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, they won't eat. They won't eat for like
Yes.
24 hours, bro. And they'll just flush their body.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny. I was thinking about the gay community today and like what fetishes people were into. It's almost like some fucked up sorting hat from Harry Potter, and so, like you sit there and you put a hat in someone, this like hat just goes fisting, and then there's another one and go pup play, because pup play is probably the most fucked up one I've experienced.
Putt play.
Pup play. That's when people dress as like dogs. They wear leather outfits
Oh,
and dress as
yeah.
dogs.
Oh, I've
And they
heard
have
it.
butt
Yeah,
plugs with tails in them. And I remember going to this guy's house, high on crystal meth. He had gear too. It's always about the crystal meth, baby. And I go around to his house. He's sleeping in a caravan out the back. And he runs out the backyard to greet me on all fours as a dog and jumps up on my lap. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is what?
It's the same stuff
kinda
with
hot.
straight. It's the
Kinda
same.
hot.
That's true.
The same stuff with straight, right? We just don't have the sorting hat. Like, you cunts just tell each other what you want. We're trying to figure it out.
Yeah, you guys have got to figure it out. And
We
like,
don't even have the sorting hat.
It's hard because men go, I want it all. And women are like, I don't really want any of it. So...
Or some of them want very specific.
Very specific things, yeah, exactly. So it's tough, but like gay guys, even if gay guys aren't really interested in the same thing, it's still pretty mutual. Like, you're into that, I'm not going to yuck your yum.
Yeah.
I'm not
going to yuck your yum.
Yeah,
That's
a good
so
one. I like
great.
that, yeah.
We do have to get to the next one. I
Sorry.
do
Yeah,
want to have
so-
a quick one though.
No. We're going to save it.
Yeah,
We're
we'll
gonna
save it. Yeah,
oh, wait.
the craziest.
Ask the question.
I was going to say that. What's your craziest sexual experience that you've come across?
And ladies and gentlemen,
And
that's
we'll-
where we're
yeah.
picking up on the
That's what we're
Patreon.
picking up.
So fucking
yeah, stay around.
give us some money, you fucking
Give
tight
us
asses.
a little bit of money. This is crazy. You want to hear how the rest of this goes? How far into this story are we? Does it get crazier?
Oh, way crazy. We're just licking the lips. You know
Oh,
what
okay.
I mean?
Yeah.
Goddamn.
You
All
wanna
right.
hear this.
Yeah,
You
well,
wanna hear this.
I've only just started cooking meth. You know what I mean? So just wait, motherfuckers.
Elliot, Mitch, thank you. And
Okay,
fucking
yeah.
slide
Join
into
us.
the page and
Join
watch
us
the
on the
rest of this
page, everyone.
episode. You fucking legends.
Thanks, boys.
Booyah.